Am I just being lazy? Are other people coping with this better than I am? Am I just being like melodramatic? Like, why am I not strong enough to cope with this? All of these things go through my head. And if you're feeling any of those things right now, I just want to say I felt them too. Hello my lovelies, and a big warm welcome to today's video. I'm Carys Andersson, and today we're going to be talking about my first trimester of this pregnancy that is going on right now. So if you are new here, a huge welcome. Usually we're talking about health, fitness, mindset, all that kind of jazz. But now that I'm preggy, I feel like I want to talk about this. So welcome to any mums that are new here and clicking on this video, new mums or people who are looking to get pregnant. We're going to be chatting about my first symptoms that I had before I found out I was pregnant, what the first trimester has been like, and we'll have a little look at this little bump of mine as well. So let's dive in. Okay, so first of all, were there any symptoms that came up before I actually took my pregnancy test and found out I was pregnant? I don't know about you, but if you're looking to get pregnant, you get really obsessive about like symptom spotting. And all the other months leading up to this pregnancy, I was like, ooh, that must mean I'm pregnant. And then I would take a test and I wouldn't be pregnant. It would be disappointing, etc., etc. So this was actually the first month that I put the app down. I didn't log my period. I kind of knew in my head when it was due anyway, because I'm very, very regular. I didn't even think about anything. I was like, just living my life. But I can think back to a few days before I took my test and a few things that popped up. The first one that I noticed was my gums were bleeding. And then I researched that, and that is actually a pregnancy symptom. Your gums are bleeding. So I have pretty good oral hygiene and I don't usually get bleeding gums. So for me, that was like, oh, that's odd. Why is that happening? And the second thing I had was just like one sharp pain in my boob, like a lightning in my boob. And I was like, that is really weird. So those were the things I had. Now, last time in my first pregnancy, I had much more symptoms. I had a migraine that came. I felt really fatigued. I felt completely off. And so I really knew a bit more that I was pregnant then. But this time it was a little bit less. I looked back in my diary and I had actually written that I was very confused and like brain fog. And the day I took my test, I slipped in the kitchen into the dishwasher and cut all my leg open. I also banged my car as I was coming off the roundabout and banged my hubcaps and just like had a big old bump. So I think I was basically just a bit of a nightmare. So those were my pregnancy symptoms: becoming a confused hot mess, sharp boob pain, and bleeding gums. Lovely, right? Don't you all want to get pregnant? Lovely. That's a joke, of course. It's so wonderful to get pregnant, and it took us not a long time, but a wee while. I think this time was like 6 or 7 months. So although that's not a long time compared to some people's journeys, for me, I know what it's like when you take that test every month and you're like, please this month, why not? So I'm so grateful that I'm pregnant, but it's fun to talk about the downsides as well as the upsides. Okay, so let's dive into what this first trimester is actually like. So for anyone that doesn't know, your pregnancy is split up into 3 trimesters, and the first one is till about 13 weeks, I think. So the first couple of weeks after finding out, when you find out you're already, if on the day of your missed period, you're already 4 weeks pregnant. You're already a month pregnant because they take it from the first day of your last period. So you've already been pregnant for this amount of time, and the morning sickness for me didn't kick in until about 6.5, 7 weeks. So I had a couple of weeks there where I knew I was pregnant, but I just felt like normal and $1,000,000. So I was training really hard, I was getting lots of work done, I was feeling so positive and good. It was really cool. The only thing I had, which was so strange, was pelvic pain, lower back pain, like that nerve pain that you get with my last pregnancy came like in the second trimester. And it is from the hormone relaxin flooding into your body as you get pregnant and opening up your hips and your pelvis, like relaxing everything there so that they can open up to give birth. I found that so strange that I had that directly at the beginning, and I just thought, oh my God, I'm gonna have this for the whole pregnancy. And it was so, so bad. I couldn't sleep. And also reducing my caffeine intake also meant that I was quite tired and felt a bit grumpy at the beginning. So that's kind of the worst part of that. I'm a bit of a caffeine fiend, so bringing that down was a bit of a big adjustment. Then at week 6, week 7, when that wonderful morning sickness kicked in, and I think maybe a man named it morning sickness because a woman would never name it morning sickness. The man probably is just at home with the wife in the morning before he went to work, so called it morning sickness because that's all he saw. But for sure, your wife is feeling sick all day long. You feel sick all day long. Now, not everybody gets this. And I looked at a few of these first trimester videos before I recorded this one. And some people were like, yeah, I had morning sickness from like week 7 till about week 9. And I was like that last time. I had it from about week 6 to week 10. But this time, so this is my second pregnancy. I have a 2-year-old as well. My morning sickness went from about 6.5 weeks all the way up until 13 weeks. And it was savage. It was so much worse than last time. I puked a lot. I gagged, like almost puking so much. I was so tired. The fatigue is unbelievable. I spent a lot of time laying down. So we had lots of family here because it was like the end of the summer. We had my family, we had all Johan's family, my husband's from Sweden. All the kids were in the pool and everyone's having barbecue. And I was laying in bed watching Downton Abbey and Outlander, which I've binged. That's how bad I felt. I just couldn't do anything. I didn't want to eat anything. So, food aversions. It's so funny. I'm comparing a lot this pregnancy to the last pregnancy because it's fun to see the difference. Last pregnancy, I was obsessed with pizza. I could eat candy in the evenings. I was also obsessed with avocado and egg on toast for some reason. This pregnancy, the thought of pizza really made me feel sick. I did not want pizza. I wanted the juiciest fruit. I remember saying to my husband, can you go to the supermarket and get me the juiciest fruit that you can get? That, crisps, and toast. I wish I'd actually counted how many pieces of toast I've eaten so far in this pregnancy. Toast just seems to like settle your tummy, just seems to be like really what you crave when you're feeling sick. And you're so thirsty that like really, my mouth's watering now, really juicy fruit is what I wanted as well. And fizzy water. Those were the things that saved me, and like crisps and like crackers and kind of those dry carby things when you just feel sick was so helpful. So many times I sat down to a meal that was cooked by my sister-in-law who was staying or my husband, and I couldn't eat it. And I wanted to, but I just couldn't. There's no other way of describing literally just the fact you know if you put that in your mouth, you're gonna be sick. So yeah, that was the kind of first trimester. Towards the end of the first trimester, there was one day now, I think it was last week, I was like, I just want chicken nuggets and chips. And I'm not the person, like I haven't had a McDonald's or a Burger King for since 2010. So what's that, like 11 years? I just wanted chicken nuggets and chips. So Johan went to the supermarket and got like oven chips and chicken nuggets, and I couldn't even put salad with it. I didn't even want salad. So I just had a plate of chicken nuggets and chips, and it was divine. So yeah, all these cravings, totally normal. Sometimes you crave healthy things, sometimes you crave junk food. My advice is just go with the flow because you know it's temporary, you've just got to survive it and get through it. I actually lost quite a lot of weight in that first trimester because there was so much stuff I couldn't eat and I didn't feel like eating. And I lost a lot of muscle tone as well from not training. I can count on my both hands how many times I trained in this first trimester, and some of them were like yoga based, stretching and just kind of doing what my body wanted. I picked up some weights now and again and did a little bit of something, and I did a lot of walking. I tried my best to walk as much as possible because you just do what you can, okay? That's what it's all about. You just do what you can. So now I'm in week 13. So we had our 12-week scan, and we saw the baby for the first time last week. This time, I've gone with the public healthcare system, whereas last time I went with the private healthcare system. For anyone that doesn't know, I live in Mallorca in Spain, so it might be different from where you live. But with the private healthcare system, I had scans as much as I wanted. So I think I went for one when I initially found out I was pregnant. They do the internal scan, and then I had one all the time. I just had so many scans. So I heard the heartbeat at 6 weeks, etc., etc. This time, I had to wait until 12 weeks, which is so normal in the UK, which is where I'm from. And I could have still gone for a private scan, but I wanted to wait. I have a toddler now, so I'm much more busy. So I waited until 12 weeks to get my scan, and we saw our little bean the other day, and I was so emotional. It was lovely. It was just amazing. But what they've said is actually I'm showing up as like 11 weeks. When I was supposed to be 12 weeks, I was showing up as 11 weeks. And you have to go when the baby is 4.5 centimeters. So that you can have the checks for Down syndrome, etc. So I'm going to go this week, and that's actually going to be classed as my 12-week scan. But I know in my head when my last period was, and that I am actually now 13 weeks, not 12 weeks, if that makes sense. And this happened before with my daughter Indy as well. I knew from my app and my tracking, and I'm so regular with my cycle, how many weeks pregnant I was. When I was due, I calculated it all. And when I went to the doctors, they said, no, you're 1 week behind that because of the size of the baby. But then the baby caught up in size, and then they bumped my weeks up again. So I'm pretty sure that's happening again this time. So if you go to the doctors and they say, oh no, the baby's a bit small, I think you're this many weeks, don't worry. It's a bit of a guessing game at the beginning. Indy was a very small baby anyway. And obviously, I'm saying don't worry, but I'm not a OBGYN or a midwife. But just so you know, that happened to me, and it's happening again now. So I'm saying I'm 13 weeks. They're saying I'm 12, but I'm right. Yeah, so that's what's happening now. And the reason I'm making this video today, and it wasn't like 4 weeks ago and had all these plans to do like an 8-week video, etc., is that I've got my energy back. So if you're in the first trimester right now and you're feeling like, I don't think I'm ever going to be human again, you will be. It might be now at your 13-week mark, it might be at your 17-week mark, but you will feel human again, I promise you. And when you come back, it's like a distant memory. When you're in it, I will be honest with you, I actually really struggled mentally when I was in that phase of having morning sickness. Because for me, as a very active person, I'm someone who connects a lot, I have my business, I like to be outdoors, I like to be like goal-orientated and driven and get things done. I like to chill out as much as the next person, but I just enjoy my life in the way I do, eating healthy, being active, etc. And when I couldn't live that way because of what was happening in my body, although I know that I just need to surrender to the pregnancy, I did struggle mentally with not feeling myself. And your mind starts to play tricks on you, like, am I just being lazy? Are other people coping with this better than I am? Am I just being like melodramatic? Like, why am I not strong enough to cope with this? All of these things go through my head. And if you're feeling any of those things right now, I just want to say I felt them too. And it's okay to feel like that, because it's really valid, because it's like your body gets hijacked. You've got all these plans and things you're going to do, and then all of a sudden you feel so ill that you can't follow through on anything, and you don't feel yourself. You really don't feel yourself. So just know it will come back. It's okay not to feel okay. It's okay to be a slobby, slothy, hibernating mess for a while, and just do the best you can. For me, this time was completely different to last time, because last time we had a small apartment, I had a small business, I didn't have any other children, no responsibilities. This time we've got a bigger house, I've got a 2-year-old, I've got a bigger business, got bills to pay, responsibilities. So it's just was completely different. Getting up at 5 a.m. because your toddler's up with morning sickness, it's just not nice. There's no other way of putting it. Not nice. And we don't want to do it, but you have to. No one's going to come in and save you. No one's going to do it for you. So you have to plod through. Luckily, my parents came out for a little bit, and that was nice because they really helped out with Indy. But yeah, I did struggle. So just know, if you're struggling, yeah, welcome to the struggle club. And I feel for you, and it's horrible, but just know it will pass. It will pass, and you'll come back to yourself. And you'll feel amazing. Your bump will start to show, your energy will come back, and you'll feel incredible. So while I'm doing all this, I'm also doing all this pregnancy thing, I'm putting together pregnancy programs, fitness programs, and there will be a postnatal one coming as well. When I'm postnatal, I'm going to do that. So kind of going through it with you. Yeah, I think the first trimester one needs to be more of like a survival guide rather than a fitness guide, because that's what we need to do. We need to survive. So anyway, if you want to get on the waiting list for that, I've popped the link in the description of this video. But thank you so much. Consider sticking around and subscribing if you want to follow this journey. And if you liked this, let me know. Put in the comments how many weeks pregnant you are, or if you're just watching because it's fun, or let me know where you're at in your life, and come and say hello. I love connecting with everyone. Have a beautiful day. And if you are pregnant, good luck, well done, congratulations. If you're looking to get pregnant, I'm so excited for you, because this journey is just beginning and just sending you so much love and positivity your way. I'll catch you in the next video and see you later.